Now this is the life. What a place for our budget blue sky thinking. I am fairly certain that if George Osborne spies us from his office up there in the Treasury, he'll be wanting to come out and
I'm fairly certain he wouldn't.
Spill the beans on the
Tell us
whole
everything.
show. When he goes through his budget spreadsheets, what reason is there for him to take on a sunny disposition?
Well, I mean, when it comes to the economy, you can't fail but be a little bit buoyed up by the fact that growth is stronger than it has been since, the start of the crisis. Things look like they're starting to improve, and that in turn means that you're going to have a slightly smaller deficit than expected because more income tax revenue is coming in. But I suppose on the flip side, where's that growth coming from? It's not all from the kind of exports and all those things that we hoped it would come from. It's housing.
The political message, I know what it's going to be. You know, we all know, everybody around here knows it's going to be the long-term plan is working.
It's working.
And does that stack up?
The problem is that there is a question mark over how much of this growth is actually permanent. There's a question mark, like I said, over where it's coming from.
So can he actually do anything to try to guard against those danger areas becoming more problematic?
Well, maybe. My pet theory is that there's maybe he might tone down the generosity of Help to Buy, this new flagship scheme for the housing market.
My pet theory is you're wrong.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
You know why, though? I mean, what a humiliation.
It's the politics, isn't it?
That's their favourite policy.
Yeah, well, that's true, and so perhaps not. But then by the same token, the Bank of England, Mark Carney, has an opportunity in September to make his call on this.
Oh, now that is a point. That would be nasty.
Yeah, you see. I might not be wrong, but I probably am.
And the Labour argument, cost of living, very familiar again. Does that work as effectively today as, say, a year ago?
It does at the moment because wages are still rising at a slower rate than inflation. So technically speaking, the squeeze on real incomes is still going on. People don't have as much disposable income as they did, last year and the year before. But that's coming to an end at the end of this year.
As this fits into a broad political narrative running up not just to European elections but a general election, there's a real sense within the governing parties that we're on the up and up, and that means politically they're on the up and up as well. OK, sticking to the economics, are they broadly right?
Well, it's definitely things are improving, but the problem is that, number one, that growth might be kind of overly reliant on the housing market. Number two, and I hate to kind of continue to be the kind of harbinger of bad news, ill tidings, but it does seem that when you look beyond this year, it might be a bit weaker than expected, and the opportunity for the economy to bounce back, bring in all the cash, isn't quite as good as we thought.